Randomised Gaming presents.
Hello and welcome to the second Randomised Gaming Myth-busting episode, and I am once again Random Gamer Riven. And some of you will notice we've stuck an intro on there. Yep, from now on in we're going to start including intros and outros on all our edited videos, not pure just gameplay videos. But at the minute I haven't done the outro, so it's just done the intro, so let us know what you think. It's very basic, but I just wanted to quick fire, keep it simple, stupid types, as they say, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Basically a quick fire thing that just straight off just says who we are, what we do, etc, blah blah blah. It just purely wants to stop people nicking our videos and then trying to upload them as their own. Not that I suspect people will do that from time to time, however. But I am once again Random Gamer Riven, and today we're actually going to take a quick look at Metal Slug on the SEGA Saturn. Now I was just going to do a straight up gameplay video of Metal Slug on the SEGA Saturn, but I actually thought, while I'm doing a gameplay video, I actually want to put a myth to bed. And what this myth is that the SEGA Saturn version is rife with slowdown. And as you'll see from the gameplay footage, from the official 1MB cartridge, it's not rife with slowdown. So where does this myth come from then, that it is rife with slowdown? Well, that's easy. You see, a lot of Americans unfortunately don't mod their SEGA Saturn, so make them region free, which have a lot of advantages because every single game works. Instead, a lot of the Americans always say to use the Action Replay 4MB and 1MB cartridge to play import games. Now I can tell you now, if you are using one of them, you are unfortunately a gaming noob. Really are a gaming noob, because no one should use a 4MB or 1MB Action Replay cartridge. They are horrible, horrible things. Not only do they damage your cart slots because they tell who made them didn't use the official size PCB, so they actually stretch the internal cart boards of the actual readers, so it requires you have to use a pin to gently push them back into position after a few years. But they also, so basically they damage your cart slot, and they just don't work with every game ever made either on the Saturn. They actually they cause more hassle than they are worth. If you basically want a cheap, easy way to play import games, that's what they're for. If you want a decent way to use import games, well, they are not for you then. You want to get your Saturn properly modded, so that way you can use the official cartridges, because the official cartridges don't damage your cart slots, and they actually put to bed another myth that the SEGA Saturn cart slot is really, really dodgy. A lot of people claim it's absolute rubbish. Now, the Saturn cart slot is occasionally prone to making the odd read failure when you initially insert your cartridge. That even I've had that on an official Saturn, but nothing than a quick clean of the cart or just a reinsert fixes that. Some people seem to claim the Saturn cartridge slots don't work, period, after a while. That's because they're using a 4MB, 1MB that's stretching the internal ports apart. And as I said earlier, if that happens, you then have to use a pin to basically push the pins in the cart reader back in. I've had to actually do that formally. We had to do that here at Randomised Gaming previously on an old SNES we had that's been used for like 20 years, where after the time the cartridge just slowly pushed the internal boards, the readers apart. And it will happen on all consoles, but if it's had a lot of use, then you will eventually need to just gently tweak the bits in with a pin, just get them under and just pull them out. So it's a time-consuming process, but it has to be done from time to time. Pretty much, as you'll see from this footage, there is not much. There is a teeny bit of slowdown in the Saturn version, and a teeny bit of there's some animation missing, but not a great deal. In fact, the slowdown pretty much matches the original arcade version. The Saturn's version, having played the NEO-GEO port quite extensively, and the Saturn's version, for what it is nigh on arcade perfect. It's vastly better looking and playing than the original PlayStation version as well. So why do people say it's rife with slowdown? Well, the simple truth is the 4MB and 1MB data action replay cartridges do not correctly emulate the official cartridges. So if you're using the official cartridges, so that's the 1MB or the 4MB, you will notice substantially less slowdown. Now, Metal Slug was solely designed for the 1MB cartridge by SNK. It is not technically designed to work with the 4MB, but I'm going to show you the 1MB first, and then I'm going to move on to the 4MB in a bit, because I hadn't actually tested the 4MB either with Metal Slug, and I was interested to see, because a lot of people mentioned graphical corruption, but we'll come on to that later. For now, this is actually how the official 1MB cartridge looks. And as you'll notice, there it plays very smoothly and acts very softly. Oh, one last thing. Some eagle-eyed Randomised Gaming viewers may notice this is only 30 frames a second video. That's because Metal Slug is frame locked at 30 frames a second. So there's no point in me actually doing a 60 frames a second, because all it is doubling up the frame count. You will notice there are a few people who have done 60 frame videos, and unfortunately on Metal Slug they are actually noobs as well, because Metal Slug only generates a locked 30 frames, and that's across the whole series, reading up from quite a few sources. Then I checked myself actually doing a 30 and a 60 frame video, and the frame count's actually the same. So basically 30 frames it is, and if you do 60 frames you're just doubling up on the existing frames that there is. So without further ado, here is the SEGA Saturn version of Metal Slug using the correct, and this is the official 1MB cartridge.
Metal Slug! launcher. Rocket launcher. Okay. Rocket launcher. Machine gun.
Okay, so as you can see from the official 1MB cartridge, it all plays nice and lovely. It really is a good conversion. I was actually hoping to do that run Death 3, but I'm just a bit rusty. It's actually been quite a while since I've 1cc'd the original Metal Slug, but I've still got most of my skills. But unfortunately, I died, had a silly death on the second stage and had to re-record the third stage, as I had a very unfortunate accident at the sub-boss Alan the first time around. And no, I didn't mean to jump out of the tank on the third stage either. What I meant to do was collect the bombs, because basically there's a trick where the third boss you can just blow it apart really quickly, just tossing grenades at it, but I screwed that up. But as you can see, that is the 1MB cartridge. Now, there is some videos, I don't know, I saw one a little while back of when using the 4MB 1MB action cartridge, you'll notice there's corruption and mass slowdown. So I assume, because I've never actually run the original Metal Slug with the 4MB, the official 4MB I should say, we don't actually, here at Randomised Gaming, do not actually own a 4MB 1MB action replay, because they, as I said, they're just ghastly things. We've never actually owned one. So I thought I'd give it a check and actually see what the official 4MB does, because supposedly, from what I've heard, there was graphics corruption and mass slowdown. So there is me actually playing the first level with the official 4MB cartridge on, I should say, Model 2 Saturn. This is recorded on a Model 2 Saturn, and using the official 1MB cartridge and an official copy of the game as well, just to make that deadly clear. Oh, incidentally, our version is 1.02. There's actually 2 releases of Metal Slug on the SEGA Saturn, and we've got the version 1.2 release, not the later release bug fix, which was the 1.5. But it's actually impossible to tell them apart other than actually reading the header on the disc, annoyingly. So, as you can see with that video, using the official 4MB cartridge, there isn't the amount of additional slowdown. In fact, it ran almost the same as the 1MB. I think there were 1 or 2 slight bits of more slowdown, but nothing major, not to the extent I've seen in other videos. In fact, as I've seen on some other videos, there's been mass graphical corruption during the load screen. Often there's like dotted elements on the load screen when the monkey's throwing the grenades around. However, as you can see, using the official 1MB and official 4MB cartridge, those dotted elements don't appear. So why are they appearing in some people's videos, and why is the game having mass slowdown? Well, as I said at the beginning of the video, it's because they are not using official 4MB and 1MB cartridges. If you are playing a Saturn game that supports the 1MB or 4MB, you need to do 2 things. First, you need to check whether it officially supports the 1MB or the 4MB, because although many games claim to support both, often they were designed to support only the 4MB or the 1MB. Preferentially, all Capcom games were designed for the 4MB except for Marvel Superheroes and Cybots, and all the SNK games only officially support the 1MB. They were never designed with the 4MB in mind. In fact, as an example, King of Fighters 96 suffers appalling graphical glitches. King of Fighters 97 suffers doubled loading times using the 4MB that when compared to using the 1MB. And as you can see, I think the loading times are slightly long with the 4MB on Metal Slug, but the graphical glitches that I've seen in other videos weren't present, and that is because we were using the official cartridges, not the unofficial ones, which are causing all the problems. So there's only one solution to this. If your Metal Slug is full of slowdown, you need to ditch your 4MB, 1MB action replay. You need to get your SEGA Saturn modded with a region switch, and then you need to start importing. Now, if you're in the US, it's unlikely you want to import any European games. There are a couple of European exclusives, but you really need a 50-60 Hz switch, and US tellies don't usually support 50-60 Hz that well. The reason being is that some PAL games were designed at 50 Hz, so at 60 Hz they suffer from elements that make them unplayable. But ideally, as a USD owner, you do want a region switch Saturn. That way you can play Japanese games. You can play all Japanese games, I'm hastening to add, because there are some games that do detect the Pro Action replay and will not work. Other games also do not correctly function when the Pro Action replay is being used. So if you want a conclusive SEGA Saturn experience, the moral of this story is get your Saturn modded. It's that simple. As you can see in this video, the 1MB and 4MB should work perfectly, but when you're using the unofficial versions, they don't, and the games do not work. In fact, none of the games that support the 1MB or 4MB technically function 100% using unofficial cartridges. The simple case is Daytale didn't use the same RAM, the same quite setup. They may have imitated it very well, but it doesn't match it perfectly, and often Japanese developers were a whiz and really used every exact parameter of the cartridge. So if the parameters even differ slightly, then the game will not play correctly. And that's the truth of the matter. So, there it is. Buy an official. There's the motto, get your Saturn modded or get a Japanese Saturn. That's the other way. Just get a Japanese Saturn. Or get a US and a Japanese Saturn. That way you don't need to mod it. That way you can play the Japanese games on Japanese Saturn and the US games on the US Saturn. But there, I said it. That's me, Random Gamer Riven. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more randomized gaming content. Visit our blog, etc. Subscribe, like, yada yada yada. You know all the usual stuff. I am Random Gamer Riven. Thanks for watching.